Jakki, when we cut, we were just about to talk about the way in which you came to Reno. Can you tell us that story and elaborate on it, please?
Well, I initially joined the cast of Hello Hollywood Hello, which was at the MGM Grand during those years in the 80s. And now it's called the Grand Sierra Resort, of course. But that major showroom was where we did this multi-million-dollar production show, which was a tribute to all of the old Hollywood musicals.
It was spectacular.
Yeah, wasn't it? I so miss it. And Beth did that show also as a performer before she became director of Artown. Many of us that were in that show actually are still residents here in Nevada after the show closed, I believe, in 1989. And we just so loved it here, you know, with the river and Tahoe and the mountains and the beauty and the warmth of the people and the community. And so initially when the show closed, it ran for almost 10 years. Usually all of the Don Art and MGM shows ran for 10 years. So after it closed in '89, many of us scattered and did other things. I went to Europe and I went to New York, lived there for 7 years and other places. And then I decided to come back to Reno because I got sick of the big cities and all the noise and the craziness and the crime and pollution. And I said, I'm going to go back to that beautiful community that I know called Reno, Nevada.
And we are awfully happy
We're
you
happy that
did.
you did.
And I have a big concert coming up for Artown, which is July 13th, which is a Sunday evening. And
July 13, Sunday
yes,
evening.
yes.
Where?
It is going to be at Wingfield Park from 7:30 to 9 p.m.
Cost?
And the cost is free.
Free.
Hey, I want everybody to come and enjoy it because I'm singing my new CD, which was just released, called Jakki Ford, Alive and Swingin'. And I'm performing it with the original orchestra that I recorded it with, the Reno Jazz Orchestra. So you're going to hear me and a 17-piece big swing band at Wingfield Park in the amphitheater on July 13th. It's a Sunday. So everybody come and have a great time.
Yeah,
it's going to be thrilling. I've got dancers also. So it's going to be spectacular.
And there's a photo of Jakki in the little book of Artown, if anybody hasn't got that.
Yeah,
This
you
is
get the booklet.
the little booklet has it all in here.
And you can get these booklets at the Artown office.
And
Beth, you wanna tell them?
you can get them at US Bank branches, at Scalari's, at Porter's, and many of the merchants downtown and around town, but also at our office. And you can also get a full schedule at renoisartown.com. And remember, Artown has only one T.
Right.
People always say, I couldn't get onto your websites.
Well, let me ask this, Beth. In connection either with Jakki or with other performing artists of note, will they be able to, will the tourists and the those who attend be able to acquire or purchase CDs and other memorabilia?
I will have them available at the concert. So
Great.
the concert will actually be this album performed live. So if everybody wants to take a little piece of the concert home, they'll be available to do that by getting my CD that same evening.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, sometime today, are you going to do a little performance for us?
I'd be happy to. I'm singing a lot of the classic jazz standards, which many people love, and that's why they're still iconic because they're so beautiful. I've got songs I'm singing by those of you that know composers, Johnny Mercer, Sammy Cahn, George Gershwin, people like that. Those are the types of composers whose music I gravitate to. And I love the jazz standards. I grew up hearing music by Lena Horne and Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald and Judy Garland. And so it's just I just absorbed it, and I just love expressing it. And the music is just so beautiful that I want to share it with everybody.
What a rich history. Really? So, Beth, do many of the artists have these credentials of this nature?
You know what I think is the answer is yes. I mean, Jakki's obviously exceptional, but really, I think when you look at any artist, they're not just an artist out of nowhere. Their schooling is through hard knocks and travel and touring and figuring it out. But the one thing I will say for what Hello Hollywood Hello provided when it was at the MGM, every single night although it was down in a band room under the stage, 3 floors down, we performed to a live orchestra, a live band every single
That's
night.
true.
It was beautiful.
And then
Really?
at some point when there was cutbacks were made, I know that we turned to canned music. But I would have to say, I feel very strongly that our arts industry, for the size of community that we have, is incredibly strong. And I
Incredibly
really
rich, yeah.
believe that it's because it had its roots with all those musicians and dancers and singers from Hello Hollywood Hello.
Wow.
You know, we
Several
all,
of
I think that's true. How many years did that play again? 5 or 6
I think it
years?
started
was,
in-
it was several years.
yeah, I started in
About 10
I went to it at
79.
least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And many of those musicians that played in the orchestra for our show are still here in Reno, and
Right.
several of
They
them
found
are
love.
also in the orchestra, the Reno Jazz Orchestra. Here, it's a picture there. I don't know if you can see it. Directed by Mr. Chuck Ryder, and they are fabulous. They are superb. They can top New York or Los Angeles musicianship. You know, studio musicians. They're impeccable, and they have their own music as well. But it's just a pleasure to be able to perform with them on the 13th. I'm getting more and more excited as the days fly by. But yeah, it's going to be incredible. But they are phenomenal, and they also are teaching a lot of the younger students that are here in Nevada. They're teaching at UNR. We have several that are
Wonderful.
teaching trumpet. They're teaching drums. They're teaching jazz composition. You know, so yeah, we have a wonderful, wonderful little community here that's quite unique.
and you know, most of the dance studios in Reno are owned and operated by former dancers from
Right.
Hello Hollywood Hello as well.
Isn't that
Right.
something?
So it really
Yeah.
has provided an incredible base.
I knew it was profound, the effect of it, but I didn't realize it was quite that profound. And people,
Yeah.
Do you
Fell in
know,
love with
yeah,
the area.
and you know, a little historical piece on the Ziegfeld showroom, as it was called
Oh,
back then.
sure.
Now it's called the Grand
The
Theater.
The theater.
But the Ziegfeld showroom, I still think, is still the largest indoor proscenium stage in the world. The stage is an acre,
it is a
Wow.
big,
and
beautiful
it's
stage.
and the airplane that was on in the show is still backstage.
It's still backstage?
Yeah, you would
Yeah,
have
when
to
you open
dismantle it to take it
Oh.
out of there. So it's still backstage, and it's used for several different promotional things, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's an extraordinary stage in the history of the genre of arts that it provided.
Right. And
Yeah.
Artown also has events there, right?
Correct. We do.
In the showroom.
We do events at the Grand Sierra. They're a very a big sponsor of ours, and they really partner beautifully with us. We do really quite significant performances there. Last year we brought in Yo-Yo Ma. We brought in Steve Martin,
Wow.
American Ballet Theatre, Joffrey, San Francisco Ballet,
I remember Wynton Marsalis.
Winter
and his
Marsalis,
big
Herbie
band.
Hancock. I mean, we really are able to draw some of those really
That's beautiful.
phenomenal
That's
artists in the
fantastic.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Krikorian was a personal friend of mine for several years. I hired his babysitter over here at the house when my kids were little. And I don't know, in a way it's changed, but the current owners seem to be doing a great job. It seems much better than the previous owners.
They've remodeled tremendously. You've been
Yeah,
inside
I think
there.
it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Of course, I like those big chandeliers the way it used to be. That was the biggest gaming
Yes.
hall in the United States when it was built.
Right.
It was
Yeah,
very
it was-
grand.
Yeah, it's still very grand. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was just at the opening. It wasn't the grand opening; it was a pre-opening of their new nightclub called Lex, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful. It even has a swimming pool in it. So, for those of you that haven't been, check it out. But,
Yeah, I've got a
You,
daughter-
Roy, has
daughter
that
that's
his own
working-
home.
working-
that's
Wow.
true. That's true.
Well, now, Beth, I'm really curious. This art town is so extensive, so robust.
Yeah.
You surely can't do it alone. I know that Elizabeth Maddox and certain others are assisting you, are they not?
Jennifer.
Jennifer
I
Maddox,
have a.
excuse
We
me.
have a. You'll be very surprised to hear this. We have a staff of 4.
That's all?
You're going to be very busy.
Yeah. We have a tremendous amount of volunteers. We have typically about 100 volunteers because it's not a weekend or a week-long event. It's a whole month.
Yeah, the town is growing uniquely beautifully. And of
Right.
course, having beautiful people perform beautifully is what it got to be all about. That's the way it was before, I assume, you know, as we studied the area here, really top performers came to Reno, and it was the only gambling place, because there was no Las Vegas.
Well, I was going to say, Las
Right.
Vegas was tiny compared to Reno. Remember
Yeah.
that? And then Howard Hughes showed up.
Yeah, he had something to do with, yeah, he and his corporation.
Well, I think we're going to take another short break, and please stay tuned because we're going to come back and talk about the ways in which Reno has reinvented itself, continues to do so, and in large measure because of what we're discussing today.
Artown.
Artown.
Artown.